We could have built that house in Maine. We could have been something. You could have taken me away, but you had bigger things, my love. You had your ticket across the states, didn't even have a place. I still have a lot to say. Hope you got just what you want. I called you last night. You didn't recognize my voice. I sit there lonely. I wondered who you thought I was. We could have built that house in Maine, but palm trees and chaos called your name. There's no one else but me to blame. I wonder how you changed my love. I called you last night. You didn't recognize my voice. I sit there lonely. I wondered who you thought I was.
Hello everyone, if there's anyone out there. Sorry we're a little bit late, but hopefully everything's working. And if there's people out there and you want to hop in the chat, all you got to do is subscribe. It is on subscriber only mode, but there's like no time limit, so should be good once you subscribe. But this is the first stream on the Peach State Sports channel, just to kind of get it going in case I want to do stuff while I'm broadcasting or whatever. So that's why we started this at a weird time and late notice. But yeah, so that's what we're doing today. So if you're watching and you want to comment, but otherwise I think I'm just gonna start running through some mock drafts and just have fun with it while I'm, I guess, technically on stream. Thanks, Ren. This is a little bit different when you know you're live. My my light just died, but it's a little bit different when you know you're live. Instead of like doing a normal video like podcast thing, but I'll give it my best shot. So since I'm a Falcons fan, we're gonna start off with a 7-round Falcons mock draft. This is one of my favorite things to do, honestly. Just whenever I'm bored in class or whatever, is let's turn these on white. That should help. One of my favorite things to do is just like run through these mock drafts. They're just fun and simple. This I've been saying a lot with the Vikings. I didn't mean to close that, but in this scenario, yeah, then JJ McCarthy's not there. I think this is a realistic scenario on draft night tomorrow, is that JJ McCarthy is not going at 4 or 5, and he starts to get a little bit of a slide. I wouldn't call it a slide because, like, you can look over here. I put up my big board. Like, I got JJ McCarthy at 34. So it's not really a slide if you're the 34th best player in the draft and you don't go top 5. So I can see him start to get down to the point where even the Vikings, we all assumed they were getting capital at 23 to trade up, but they could just very well get him at 11 and be fine. But this is something I've been saying. It was even in my mock drafts, is that this is, I think, totally realistic. Like, I don't think it's crazy at all that JJ McCarthy will be at 8 and teams are going to start calling. Even though, you know, the Bears and Jets don't exactly offer a threat to take a quarterback. I mean, the Jets could. They could take JJ. That wouldn't be the craziest thing. But this is the one I like a lot, is the Raiders and their second-round pick. I think that's also realistic. They'd come up for JJ. Now that makes sense for them to come up for JJ as well. But also, I mean, the tackles start going. You could see Joe Alt just went, and Fashanu. So we're going to take the Raiders here. And it works out pretty well because so you can see the only edge off the board is Dallas Turner. And this is something I've been hearing from the people I've talked to close to the organization for the Falcons, is that they feel comfortable taking Latu at 8, which, again, if you saw the video yesterday or just follow the Falcons situation, it seems pretty clear that Latu is kind of the guy right now for the Falcons. However, it wouldn't surprise me if they trade back, if all 3 edges are on the board, and say Latu goes to Chicago at 9. Like, that's definitely an option. Then they would go with one of the other top 2. Here, Latu's still available. I don't see them trading down twice, so I think Latu's just the pick there. And I think Latu, at the end of the day, is going to be their number 1 guy. I don't really like messing around with the second round trades because those are impossible to pick. That's funny. Michael Penix being here, I could see a lot of Falcons fans in this situation. See a lot of Falcons fans in this situation asking for Penix. Yeah, JJ, like, I have him as an top of the second round guy. He could very well be a Will Levis caliber player on in terms of, I mean, last year Will Levis was getting the hype that he's gonna come in and go at 2 to the Texans. Like, that was the thing, is he's gonna hop Stroud as the second guy and the Texans are gonna take him at 2. We've already been getting that steam of JJ McCarthy going to Washington at 2. So I could very well see, like, that start to pick up. I mean, the Chargers now taking him at 5 is a huge thing. And I could see that keep tumbling on and then just him falling out of the first round. Like, I don't think that's out of the question. I do think he goes in the first, but I almost think it's more likely he falls out of the first than he goes top 5. But that one's borderline. But back to the Falcons here. The thing here is I really think they should go defense. Again, in my video yesterday, I mentioned it feels like defense is got to be the focus. And corner would really be the focus here for me. The problem is that your corners that I like on the board here, TJ Tampa and Max Melton, have gone. Will they go this early? I kind of doubt it. This Pro Football Network keeps putting Byron Murphy as a late first, which I don't think that's going to happen. But your corners are gone here. I mean, I don't have that high of a grade on Ruka Horo. I think that's how you pronounce it. I honestly should look into it a little more. I don't have that high of a grade on him. I have a better grade on Michael Hall and Chris Jenkins. They seem like little bits of reaches here. So let's make the Falcons fan base happy. Let's do a Michael Penix draft. And here I will trade back if this is my only offer. I like that offer. That's a ton of value. Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of outcries for teams in the second round. As soon as like pick 40 happens, I think there's going to be a lot of QB needy teams. Their fan base is just calling for Michael Penix, and I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Penix doesn't go second round. Like I have him as a second rounder, but I could very well see teams kind of be scared off by him and wait until round 3, late round 2. I think is where I'd peg him at, but it wouldn't surprise me if he went round 3. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, that's 2 days away, so there's still a ton of time, because you kind of got to see how the first round of the draft plays out to know how day 2 will go. But here now, this is why, trade back scenario, I said getting Hall here or Jenkins is a little bit of a reach, at least according to Pro Football Focus or Pro Football Network. So now you can get Michael Hall, and that's your defensive tackle. We're not going to take any trade offers here. Here's where now you got to look at the secondary. Like this, it's just, you can't go another round. I love DJ James. I think he's going to be really good. You can see him under my sleepers. I think DJ James is a top quality guy. His problem is it's probably listed down here, is that he doesn't really have the ability to play one-on-one right now, like, honestly. Like, that sounds like a huge problem, and it's kind of listed in all these, but he's light, non-elite fluidity. Like, these are things that you can't really go one-on-one with a guy in the NFL if you don't have these traits. You need a safety over top for a guy like this. Luckily, the reason I like him is, as from the Falcons standpoint, you have Jesse Bates behind him. Jesse Bates is never coming off the field, so that can make up for pretty much all of these weaknesses, and then you can develop it along the way. Am I gonna go DJ James here? Sure. Why not? It's probably a little early for him, but it is what it is. Here you start getting in. Javon Bullard's off the board. I'm sure he was off the board a while ago, to be honest. I can't even find him. There he is, 53. That would be, I mean, that's not a bad spot, but for him, that's a little high, I would think. I have not been quiet about me liking Jaden Hicks from Wazoo. He would be really, really good next to Jesse Bates as the kind of strong safety. The Falcons, I think, aren't going to run that prototypical too high strong safety, free safety. I think they're going to run with Jesse Bates, who can do anything. They're looking for a player that can still play and cover 30 yards downfield. So I think he fits that. He can come downhill. He is a strong safety, I think, at the end of the day, but he can play that more ball hockey role. So I think I love him. I also love Tyke Smith. But going to Georgia, that happens, and Malik Mustafa. Mustafa is not getting enough hype. He's right up there with those top guys. I don't love him as much as Hicks, which is why I haven't kind of been bringing him up. And I think Tyke Smith is close to him as well. But Mustafa is probably a top 75 player, like, at the end of the day. And right now, I would never. What is this package? Holy crap! I would grade him higher than Pro Football Network has him, and I would never have put him 113 or whatever it is. I don't think he touches triple digits in terms of big board potential. But Mustafa right now is going right there according to Pro Football Network. Like, if he's on the board at pick 109, I would be very surprised. So we've gone edge, of course. We've gone corner. We've gone safety. And of course we went D tackle. Oh, and quarterback. I forgot. I forgot about Michael Penix. That's not a pick I love, but I'm gonna live with that. I do like Leonard Taylor. We'll see if he ends up being a Falcon. I could see it. So, in the Falcons need a D tackle. They're going from a 4-3 to a 3-4. You need more D tackles typically in a 3-4. You would like to have 3 prototypical D tackles in a 3-4. That's why it's called a 3-4. But those D tackles don't all have to be the stereotypical D tackle in a 3-4. You're not looking for like a Tavondre Sweat at every position. That's frankly 350 pounds. But the Falcons unfortunately do have 2 undersized D tackles as their main starters. They've got, Grady Jarrett, who frankly for his position is undersized. So it's going to be hard to fill that D tackle position because this year these D tackles all aren't like super big. Like McKinley Jackson right here is the only one that is not undersized. We'll just go through it. Maybe Jordan Jefferson. I don't like his tape though. But really until you get down to Gabe Hall is when it starts. Like that's a 3-4 defensive tackle that you can line up right over the center. That's your nose tackle. I love Gabe Hall and I love Christian Boyd. Christian Boyd is also not undersized. He does have some athletic problems just because he is a little bit shorter. But those are 2 players I really, really like. I don't know if Gabe Hall made it into here. I have Christian Boyd as a top 50 player, and you can see Northern Iowa, D2, not getting a lot of hype. I have him as a top 50 player. I don't think I have Gabe Hall. Let's add Gabe Hall. Let's literally move everyone down because Gabe Hall, I don't know how I missed him. Gabe Hall is one of my favorite sleepers, so we'll put him right at the top of the list. Anyway, so the Falcons will have to go D tackle eventually. I don't think it's going to be either of the top guys at the board right now. Bucky Irving is cool. I think the Falcons at some point have to go running back in the draft. It'll probably be 6th round. Here, let's just go Luke McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey is going to go way higher than his current ADP on this thing, so I don't hate that. Here I'm gonna get around the board a little bit because this is, something I want to do. Let's trade with the Jaguars if we can. We've got all these picks. You can just take all of them. I just want that one. This trading system is so broken. Like I'm pretty positive that gets it done every day of the week, but we'll throw in a ton of crap just so it goes through. All right, and then this is something I'd love the Falcons to do, although this is totally biased. Just 2 D tackles and your whole D line is set. Like it would be beautiful from a Falcons perspective. And then we got 1 pick, almost Mr. Irrelevant at the back end. Not really, but late 7th rounder. And this is where, like I said, I'd expect a running back. So you kind of want a guy, when you have a backfield like the Falcons have in Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson, you don't need someone that can go out and get a ton of carries. Like that's not something you desperately need. Sorry, I think something broke. We still live? Looks like we're still live. My internet might have just killed itself for a second. So, all right, we're going again. Carson, I'm about to mute you. In this spot, you want like kind of a firecracker, as I've described before. I love George Halani. He's not going to be on the board in this far. But you could see I like Kendall Milton, pass catching back, big size. He would be a perfect 3rd option. So I'll just. Did I pick the wrong player? No, I got him. So, all right, first one done. That's the first mock. I don't hate that. Let's. I mean that is Where'd my snipping tool go? That is definition of what a kind of Falcons fan should want, in my opinion. But especially like filling in that Michael Penix Jr. spot. I don't see the Falcons taking a QB, but unless it's late rounds, I don't see them going one in the second or third. But I think a lot of Falcons fans would want Michael Penix if he's still on the board at 43. So that's how that works out. But that's not a bad first one. You pick up a second round pick next year, from Buffalo, so late second round pick. But you would expect, although their team's falling apart. But let's do another one, just because I don't know what else we're gonna do. What's up, Eberly? Yeah, Georgia Pipeline. I think the Falcons are gonna dip a little bit more. Oh, I screwed that up, and we need to put it on fast. I think the Falcons are gonna dip a little bit more into the Southeast this draft. They've kind of been notorious about skipping out on the SEC. Ooh, that's huge. But I think there's too much talent to not dip into the SEC this year. I mean, Michigan, of course, the Big Ten is going to dominate the draft. Just because I think Michigan might have 16 players drafted. But I think the Falcons will stay a little closer to home. Like, I could see them taking Ladd McConkey here if he was available. But we'll see. All right, we're not going Michael Penix this time. I'm not. TJ Tampa on the board. That's an easy pick for me. We'll kind of keep this one straight up. I mean, why would I not accept that trade? And you can still get Chris Jenkins down here. That doesn't seem very realistic. Dwayne Carter I like a lot. Let's take him. Did he make anywhere on my board? He should. Yeah, he's in that sleepers. He would be top 75. I prefer Knicks. So my big board is to the left of the screen right here. And it does have Bo Nix as a top 15 player. So I did add this upside category because like Jaden Daniels is my 18th player, but realistically, like, he could be a top 3 player in the draft. Right now I think Bo Nix is more polished coming out. I don't think many people would argue with that. Like, Bo Nix has had the time to become more polished, so I don't think many people are arguing like Bo Nix is right now like a very good QB prospect. His ceiling might not be very good, so that's why I have him as 15. He could be low, he could drop, but right now I have him over Michael Penix and over Jaden Daniels. But if this was a big board based on also like ceilings, Jaden Daniels would be above him. But he is like certainly over Michael Penix. Michael Penix could be like high up as like 20 on a big board though. Like that wouldn't be insane. I don't think he's gonna go in the first though. I would be pretty confident Michael Penix is not gonna go in the first. I don't think Bo Nix will either, but I think Bo Nix has a much better shot. Back to this, Dwayne Carter. NHL mock draft, those are always hard for me, like, because it's almost like baseball mock drafts where like you can mock stuff, but it doesn't matter for like 3 or 4 years, except with, the Bedards and the top 5 picks. They just have to go through a ton. I was gonna take Jonathan Brooks, so that stinks he goes the pick right after. But that's how I love the NFL draft because it feels like all 7 rounds, like, these players contribute right away. Ricky Pearsall here is a really good wide receiver. The Falcons need to add at least 1 wide receiver. This might give us a chance to take Tyke Smith. There you go, more Georgia Pipeline. Don't have to talk about that one for too long. I mean, we'll move back 2 picks. I don't like moving around the board a ton. But Brendan Rice is going to be fun, just wherever he goes. It was kind of funny that he went to Colorado to start out with, because I have wondered since then, like, if he stayed at Colorado with Neon Dion, it would have been a good storyline. But Brendan Rice is going to be fun just because of, you know, his lineage, you know, being the son of perhaps the best definitely the best wide receiver of all time. Most overrated player in the draft? That's a good question. I mean, the easy answer is J.J. McCarthy, right? But, I mean, that's what everyone's going to say. Outside of that, I mean, it's the QBs, J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix, because for some reason Michael Penix is getting first round buzz, and I'd be surprised. I don't know. It's hard. It's a very, very good draft. I'd say some of the tackles, pick yours. Fuaga, I've been seeing. I would say Fuaga is the most overrated player. I've been seeing Fuaga as high as second tackle. He just does not have good hands, and you know, he makes up with that in some scenarios just with his jump, but he has weak hands, and that's a big thing in my opinion for tackles, to the point where Fuaga will probably move inside. I don't think he sticks at tackle, so any team taking him has to know he can't really profile outside. I mean, there's a chance, but like J.C. Latham might move inside, but I think all the tackles ahead of him that I have listed, way better chances at playing outside. And I think Fuaga has been getting a lot of heat as higher up in the draft, and I don't see it yet. Zach Zinter is going to be a fun story with his whole injury. This is a good one. Jonah Ellis, I love. I mean, I have him as 47th, and Pro Football Network has him as 154. So we might be a little off. Can I afford to take him? I mean, yeah. It's like, whatever. Late rounds, you can just take whoever you like. But I like Jonah Ellis a lot. That's one of my bigger risers. These are all good drafts that I'm getting out here. You never know how the players will work, but this is how I'd like the Falcons board to look in terms of picks. All right, we're at 187. Gabe Hall just goes, and Christian Boyd. That's rough. I do want an offensive tackle. It's just the ones down the board are always tough to evaluate. Let's do Joe Milton. I want George Holani here. I'm going to figure out a way to do it. Let's just trade with the Texans. They'd probably be willing to trade down. Holy crap. They're loaded in the back end. Just give them whatever they want. It doesn't actually matter. But I love George Holani from Boise State. This calls him a jitterbug. That's funny. Calls him a jitterbug. I've always called him a firecracker. So, I think he could also be a very, very good returner. And the Falcons are kind of looking to still fill that role. I mean, they've picked up Ray McLeod, but Ray McLeod and Avery Williams is coming off an ACL. So don't know how he'll be. He could be good in the punt return and kick return game. That's it for this one. I'm not a fan of 7th round picks, and I don't think the Falcons have historically been either. Certainly in recent history, they've rarely taken them. So, avoid doing it there. This is another just fine draft. And especially picking up a first, just moving down 5 spots and getting the guy you would still want, even if you don't get Latu or whoever their top guy is, their top edge. Like, you get the second best edge in the class, likely at 12 or 13, and you pick up a first next year. It's like, seems worth it to me. So let's grab another screenshot of this. There's my resumes if you guys want to hire me. All right, let's do it. Let's do another one, unless anyone has any better ideas of things they want to see. Let's just do a whole thing, a whole first round. Let's see how that works. Sorry, just fixing some stuff. I'll put some music on in the background. Why not? Let me move my mic closer. Make it hopefully sound a little bit better. Alright, that should be a little better. Let's hope. Alright, Caleb Williams. And then a huge thing has been for people, Jaden Daniels second. I just can't see it. I think it's going to be Drake May. I just have Drake May way higher. I mean, you can see that on the big board. Drake May is just... he's the second overall player in the draft, in my opinion. Here is where... no, Jaden Daniels should not go number 1. That would be hilarious. If Jaden Daniels went 1, just the outrage in Chicago should be... the outrage would be crazy. It would be bad in Chicago, or should be bad. I know. I mean, I live with a Bears fan, and he does not love Caleb Williams, so it is what it is. But here's where it gets interesting. Is like, I really could see the Patriots moving out here, and I've mocked it before, but we're gonna do it again because why not? This is like the haul that the Patriots should be wanting to get out of 3. Like, Minnesota might be the only team that can jump up and get this 3rd pick. So they're, in my opinion, the only team that would be trading with the Patriots. And right now, the thing with the Patriots is they're listening to calls or whatever on moving back. I think they're definitely open to trading back. But the only team I think they get a good enough haul from is the Patriots, unless the Giants really decide they're done with Daniel Jones. Giants at 6, that and a first rounder next year, a little bit extra, maybe even ship Daniel Jones. I would have to look at the contract on it. That would get you to 3. But besides that, none of these other teams I think have the firepower to move up. So it's just the Vikings if they want to. Pretty chalk. I always go MHJ. Marvin Harrison Jr. at 4. It's obvious, but it feels like it's gonna happen. So here, this is an interesting scenario for the Chargers because I think they're gonna be getting a lot of calls. Now, do they stick and pick with a wide receiver or Joe Alt being on the board at 5? Alt could go to any of the next 5 teams, frankly. He could go to the Giants, the Titans. The Falcons could take him. It'd be luxury, but, I mean, with a left tackle of the future like Alt, it wouldn't surprise me. Bears certainly could. They've got their bookends, but it certainly could happen. And Jets, of course, are in line for one. So they're going to get calls here about moving back. I don't think I've done this, but I am going to have them. Chances of Chargers trading up for MHJ. I'm going to have the Chargers trading back, but that's something we can look at. here the Jets hop up. They're going to try and get one good season out of Aaron Rodgers, and the best way to do that is to protect him. They would probably give up a lot, like probably more than that. I would think it would even take a future first. Yeah, it's gonna. See, I don't love that for the Jets at that point, but we'll see. It won't be that crazy, but it's something like that. I think the chances of the Chargers trading up for Marvin Harrison Jr. if the Patriots want to trade down is possible. It's a hot take, is how I'll put it. I could see it happening. When you're in the scenario the Chargers are in, where honestly that team has gone year after year, like, further away. You felt like they had a Super Bowl window. Now it's just like, hopefully they can make the 7 seed or 6 seed. Obviously, they're not going to ever be favored to win their division. So because of that, it doesn't make sense for the Chargers to trade up when their window is not really open. Like, they need to work back towards opening up their window, and I don't think the best way to do that is to trade up. However, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, it's a hot take, but it's not a crazy one. Like, it's a good hot take. I can see happening. It just matters how much they also have Marvin Harrison Jr. above the other wide receivers. Like, how high is he? Like, for me, Marvin Harrison Jr. is on a similar level as Brock Bowers and Rome Odunze. So it's like, at that point, it's not worth going that high up. If they have Marvin Harrison Jr. ranked way higher than the other wide receivers, it makes sense. So it comes down to having how their board is laid out and also what the Patriots would want. I just think if the Patriots are moving out, someone's going to want to come up for Jaden Daniels. If the Patriots are seriously fielding calls as soon as their pick goes live and Jaden Daniels is there, it's going to be hard for the Chargers to outbid a team that wants Jaden Daniels as well. So there's a lot of things working against them, but with all that put, like, I wouldn't hate it. Like, it makes sense, and I wouldn't hate it. Here, Jets go Joe Alt. We'll just run down the board. Malik Neighbors is a good fit for the Giants. I don't think it's the right pick. Malik Neighbors kind of feels reminiscent of a lot of the wide receivers they've been drafting recently. So there's that, but I wouldn't hate it. This is pretty chalk how I go about this with Fashanu going to the Titans. The Titans have to take a tackle. Like, their O-line is so bad. And they haven't been able to nail it. So maybe this is the year with Fashanu that they nail it. It could also be, this is what I'm talking about with Fuaga. Fuaga is the third tackle on Pro Football Network board. I don't think it'd be him, but Latham or Fatanu, I can see going here as well instead of Fashanu. Falcons come up. All 3 edges are on the board. I think they go trade down. That's not the way I want to do it. I think they trade down to someone that, at this point, it could be anything. You know, with Brock Bowers on the board, is someone trading up for Brock? Is someone getting J.J. McCarthy? Is someone coming up for Rome Odunze? It depends. I think with the Bears at pick 9, it's more likely that a team that wants a wide receiver trades up. Of course, we've talked about the Bears going wide receiver. Colts have given a lot of smoke that they would love to come up and get a wide receiver. There's a lot of smoke out there. We'll see if it is... Yeah, it's going to be hard. We'll see if it is just smoke at the end of the day. I don't want to really go crazy. I don't think it would be a first. It might be their second this year. I don't even like that. That's crazy, but yeah. We'll see if it's smoke. I could believe it, and I'm going to have him coming up for a Doomsday, not Bowers, even though I could very, very well see that as well. Here, it's hard to get Bowers to the Bears, even though I think that'd be really cool, because they have Cole Kmet, and Cole Kmet really is not dynamic enough to line up in other places besides just that normal tight end position. So I think they go Dallas Turner. Just a good edge. They need the help alongside Sweat on the other side. So we'll see how that goes. Now back to the Chargers, and they get an option. Now, J.J. McCarthy here would be crazy. It would be such a hardball thing to do, but I think they go with the player they could have taken at 5 and Brock Bowers and be pretty happy with that receiving threat. I have him as the second receiving threat. First tight end, obviously, but second receiving threat. So, I mean, for a team that needs a receiving threat, he's going to offer the most. Then Patriots get J.J. McCarthy, who I think they would want all along. Now, J.J. McCarthy is like a Belichick guy, but I do think he fits the offensive scheme of the Patriots, which they are keeping, even though they've switched to Gerard Mayo. So I think that's a good fit, and it would not surprise me if it happened at 11 instead of 3. But the Patriots have also been known to not be able to move around the draft very efficiently. Now, the Broncos just missed out. The Bears have Gerald Everett. They do. Gerald Everett, though, is a little bit more dynamic, where like Gerald Everett can go in the slot. It's just like with Brock Bowers, it's almost like Kyle Pitts, even though Pitts has been misused. Like, Brock Bowers can be an outside wide receiver. Like, he could play X. Like, I know he's going into the draft as a tight end, but there's no reason he could not play as an X receiver. So that was more my point, is that, like, now you do want to have him in scenarios close to the line in that typical tight end role. And the problem with that comes that Cole Kmet cannot move around, and Gerald Everett adds to that problem. So I think it's good we went with Dallas Turner. So I wouldn't be, in future, I would not be too afraid of Gerald Everett though as a player. He's gotta let's look. He's gotta be getting up there in age. He's gotta be what, 32? 29, dude, he feels like he's been in the league so long. That's crazy. He really feels like he's been in the league for 12 years. He even came in old. I mean, 23 is not crazy, but wow, his rookie campaign as a Ram really threw me off just because they were good. I thought he was putting up at least 600. I know he was behind Higbee, but if you asked me where his best seasons were, I would not have said the Chargers. Like, and that's this season by far. So that's funny. But yeah, Dallas Turner I think is a great fit for the Bears. So moving on, we went Bowers, McCarthy. Here, I think it's just weird for the Broncos because they would have loved J.J. McCarthy at 12. I can guarantee you they would have loved J.J. McCarthy at 12. He is such a Broncos quarterback. But now they don't. I don't have Knicks going this high. That would be the category you think for QB. I would have them going with an inside disruptor, and I think Byron Murphy is starting to get that top 15 hype. Even top 10 hype, to where I think this isn't crazy for him to go there. So that's something. Here, Raiders need a tackle. I'm gonna go. I mean, they always screw it up. So should I take the best tackle in my opinion, or should I take the tackle I'd see the Raiders going with? I think it would be Fautanu. Not because, in my opinion, he's the best tackle, but he does give you the best shot to play left tackle. Colton Miller is good. So, that's the thing. Let's go look at his contract. Because if his contract's fine, then you can change your mind. Yeah, I mean, he is signed until 2025. So it's just one more year, including this one. Because of that, I think we stray away and we go J.C. Latham. Alabama alignment for the Raiders. That sounds familiar. Sounds badly familiar, but I think maybe the Raiders should just be banned at this point from taking Alabama players, but in this draft we'll go with Latham. Just of course, the O-lineman, and then the wide receiver that they also took didn't turn out well. Here, this is the reason I also kind of picked Latham to the Raiders, is I think Fautanu is a much better fit with the Saints. Unfortunately, Alex Leatherwood is the GOAT. I mean, they're almost like comparable, Leatherwood and Latham, in certain ways, but they're very different players. But just because, I don't know, just the overarching similarity is huge. Fautanu is better fit for the Saints. They're going to need a left tackle. Fautanu better fits that mold of left tackle. So that's where we go here. Beating a dead horse here, but lost to the Falcons. Here they pick them up at 15. Much better for them. This is an interesting one for Seattle. I have had them moving down here a lot. I think I'm going to do so again. I think the Eagles are a big trade-up candidate before you get to this stretch run. 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. So the Eagles, all the way to the Eagles, maybe skipping the Dolphins. All those teams would love a cornerback. So the Eagles here avoid having to be at the bottom of the line for a cornerback by jumping all the way to the top of the line. And giving up not too much, only the picks this year. And then they get their top pick. As I could see a corner go way before this. I think Terrion Arnold could go way before this. I have him as the number 8 overall player in the draft. But here he's the first one off the board at 16. Then you see the runs of cornerbacks. I will give Johnny Newton here instead of another quarterback. I think Johnny Newton's great. He's really good. He's just a level below Byron Murphy, but not by much. And then we can go back to the corner, and I'm going with Nate Wiggins. So there's that little run. That run's always been easy to me. And then here I think is where we start to see Fuaga go. I think he goes before Mim still. And then here, Jared Verse is still on the board. I can never find him a spot in the top 20, even though I think he should go top 20. I can never find him a spot. So, a team that is needing a pass rusher will hop up here. Just depends which team you want to say is needing one. If anyone has any opinions in the chat on which team they think's likely, I gotta check something. So I'll wait a second and see if we get any comments. But I think Jared Verse has top 20 potential easy, and him falling is kind of ridiculous. That for me it happens every time. So we'll see. And wait a couple more seconds. Also, I just think that the Dolphins, they don't have anything of need that they need right now. Thanks, Carson. Carson said Falcons, who already took an edge. So, it'd be fun for the Lions. They don't necessarily need him, but it would be fun. So I'm going to do it. I mean, they do need him, but there's teams that need him more. But I think the Lions are going to be able to give the best package. Where's the Dolphins? Miami. There we go. All right. They're going to be able to give the best package since they're only moving up, 8 picks. Okay, maybe not. But I think Aiden Hutchinson does need some help on the other side. I think Houston's a great player. Their rookie that, unfortunately missed all of last year. Or I think played 2 games, but, missed all the time after that. He's great. So he's going into his junior season. But you always need more rotational guys. And certainly Jared Verse is more than that. And he fits the scheme well. I mean, how many times have we seen Aiden Hutchinson drop back into coverage when he shouldn't in a 3-4? That Jared Verse can give you that a little bit more. I still wouldn't. That's more of a Dallas Turner thing if you're looking at those top 3 guys. But he can do it more. So he goes there. And then this is a fit I really like. Where is he? What's he listed under? He's listed as a center here. Graham Barton will play guard. So that's a fit I like. Any chances 49ers do a crazy trade up while dealing Ayuk? I don't think it'll be crazy. I don't see them getting a first. So Ayuk on himself is worth a day 2 pick, in my opinion. So you can, with a day 2 pick attached to pick 31, like how far can you realistically move up? Now they could be in the conversation for someone like Jared Verse, with a package like that. And Ayuk on the Dolphins would be fun. Do I think that's gonna happen? No, but I don't see anything crazy. I can see them going up a maximum 15 picks. But it's not, Ayuk is not going to get them top 15 unless they start packaging a lot, like a first. They're 31 and like a third and a second, and like then it's just getting out of hand. I can see them dealing Ayuk and getting an early 2nd round pick, and then using that early 2nd round pick to reset and pick a wide receiver. I like that a lot. Especially with the wide receivers you'll have on the board. And here I think it's not I think it's not crazy that they like trade Ayuk to the Patriots, who would love him in a scenario like this, which is unique because the Patriots now have pick 23. But they move up something and Brian Thomas Jr. is still on the board and they nab him. That would be great for them. I love Brian Thomas Jr. And speaking of it, he goes to the Patriots, who need a wide receiver. And in my opinion, they have the best draft. They move down, they get the quarterback they would want, and they get Brian Thomas Jr. So, Dolphins going with Worthy, calling it now. You'll be surprised. I think Amarius Mims fits the Colts, the Dallas Cowboys perfect here. Right tackle, come in, plug and play, and can move inside if they need it. Here is a guy I'm starting to get higher on. This is a bad class for linebackers. If one goes first round, it's going to be Peyton Wilson. And the Green Bay Packers need one. So we'll see if he goes there. Moving on, edge now starts to thin out. I do think Chop Robinson goes first round. I got him as the 24th player, so he slots in pretty well here. McDaniel loves the speed. He does. And as we approach the end, of course, the Cardinals went Marvin Harrison Jr. at 4. Here at 27. This is a trade down spot. For a team that's rebuilding, I think all these teams below them have valuable picks that they need. Of course, the Bills want a wide receiver. Dolphins need some O-line help. So those teams are going to want it. Here, if a team is wanting the 5th-year option on a quarterback, they're going to come calling. And here I have it being Denver, who will have to shell out a little bit. But they think, I hate this. I hate this trade simulator. They think they're going to be getting their quarterback of the future here. And this way they pick up a 5th-year option on him. This is crazy, but just ignore it. This is not actually how the trade would be built, but I'm tired of messing with it. This is how Bo Nix gets picked in the first round. Is a team wanting 5 years of control on him and jumping in late into the round. Honestly, Dolphins could take him, something similar, in a situation like this where they move back, not jump up. Dolphins would be crazy, but I could see it. It'd be fun. Bills here, they go one of my favorite wide receivers on the board. Where's he listed? He's listed at 21. If I redid my top 50, he'd probably be higher, but Adonai Mitchell goes there. And just for you, Carson, we'll take Xavier Worthy at 29. I was gonna go. I do think that they need to go kind of Cooper Beebe inside. That would be a good pick. The guy from, Jackson Power Johnson, maybe. I was more thinking the guy from Arizona. Where is he? Is he listed as a tackle? Yeah, he's listed as a tackle. I don't agree with that. But Jordan Morgan, I think, also would work for them. I don't think he's going to play tackle, but we'll see. I could see them taking that interior line help. Now the Ravens really get screwed over because, there's no wide receiver here that would help them a huge amount. So I will go Jordan Morgan because I think he's starting to get round 1 buzz, and I would not be surprised if he slips in there late. So I usually have Worthy going to the Ravens and Morgan going to the Dolphins, but we'll flip-flop them just for you, Carson. Then the 49ers, I think they go Guyton. They need the potential of a starting tackle, especially with Trent Williams getting up there in age. He certainly offers that. I do like Roger Rosengarten. Roger Rosengarten a lot, more than the average person, just because of his athletics. He's got strong hands, but his length, as that says, can fail. But I think he could start getting first-round hype over, especially a guy like Tyler Guyton, who I think is starting to fall out of favor. And then last pick, this is hard because Cooper DeJean, I think, really should be a first-rounder. And I do want to pick with the Chiefs here. I'm not going to do a trade up for Michael Penix or whatever. It's just hard for the Chiefs because they could really do anything they want. I don't think I'm just going to force them Cooper DeJean. Although it'd be fun. Cooper DeJean and... oh, crap. What? I just brain farted. Cooper DeJean and... the safety corner hybrid they just drafted. I can't remember. Alright, you know who I'm talking about. That would be fun. Keon Coleman would be fun for them too, though, so that's how I'll go. The big threat. He needs some work, but building on the Chiefs would be a good time for him. So offers a lot to the Chiefs. All right, that's how the first 32 pick mock draft works out. I'll leave it up for a second as I do my checks. We're almost at an hour. I did not even think I'd make it this far, but this is what I normally do when I'm bored, so it works out. I really gotta, edges go so much higher. you know, Carson, I know you're in the chat. If you have, or anyone, if there's a couple people in here, if you're Jared Verse fans, let me know where you think he fits in good. I don't like him at 21. I think he should go higher. Just can't figure it out how high he should go. I mean, Bengals could take him, but even then, that feels low. Like, I feel like he goes shortly after Latu or even before Latu at 15. The furthest I see him falling is 19 to the Rams, and yet I can never slot him in there. They could go Verse at 8, but that's not, you know, that's not the fit I'm looking for, I don't think. Like, that's a valid fit, but you know, need more, because if the Falcons are likely going to have their option of any of the 3 at 8, so if you assume that they'd go someone different than Verse, you know, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Is because that's the boat I'm in right now. I know we're, you know, everyone's in different opinions, but I've heard from people really close to the Falcons organization that Latu is their guy. And that could all be smoke, but you know, it's not just some random reporter. It's a beat reporter for the Falcons. Right now he's saying Latu's their guy. So if Latu goes to the Falcons, you know, you need Verse to go somewhere, and I don't like him falling into the 20s. So it's just, where does he fall? I think the Vikings at 11, if they can't move up, that'd be fun for Verse. Raiders could take him if they don't go offensive line. Seattle could take him, but I really do like Seattle's D-line, or not D-line, but edge rushers. Yeah, Bears could take him for sure. It's one of the edges. Let's just say not Verse. Let's change the way we're thinking. One of the edges is not going to be taken in the top 10. I could see 2 going top 10, because there's a world where the Falcons go 1 at 8, the Bears go 1 at 9, but then where does the last one go? Like, the Bears and Falcons are the most obvious edge fits right now. It's just the edge is such an important piece of a defense. It's the most important piece, in my opinion. And right now, Verse is a high-level player, and it's hard to slot him in anywhere, because it's like those are the 2 spots that just seem very, very good for it. So if it's not Verse, you know, let's say Verse goes at 8, Turner goes at 9, where does Latu go? It's one of the edges that's going to be left out, and I'm finding it hard to place them somewhere. I don't know. Later down the board, Bo Nix. I like the late part of the board. I would say maybe you don't see that many offensive linemen go that late, with Mims, Morgan, and Guyton getting a run late, and Barton. I think Barton goes high, but Kenyon Mitchell is another person I have questions about, as playing at Toledo. It's hard to evaluate corners when they don't go to big schools. That's why I love Terrion Arnold, is because Kenyon Mitchell has, I'll be honest, slightly better tape and attributes, but he plays at Toledo, and he's never played great competition, and that is really the only way at the end of the day to evaluate cornerbacks. So that's why I don't have him as my top corner, and I have Arnold, I think, going way higher than he does even in this mock. Let's do one more. Let's speed through. Let's kind of speed through it, though. So that kind of like I was explaining most of the picks, we'll just go with similar but change it up. Here we'll have the Patriots go. Daniels. We'll change it up for certain. We'll have the Chargers stick. Here's where I'll have the Vikings trade up, I guess. I do think the Vikings are going to trade up. You know what? Let's leave it. I think even though Malik Neighbors is off the board, I like Roma Dunze. I think they will too. Let's go a little bit more basic. Here, I'll give the Falcons the trade out. I'm rooting for it, so we're manifesting at this point with Falcons trade backs. But this could be very good. It would just be simple like that. The Falcons would probably have to give up like 79. But I can see them getting 2 firsts, even though it's just 3 picks. I didn't mean to go Fashanu overall, but it happened. So, oops. Didn't mean to. I could happen. Like, it wouldn't be super surprising, but I didn't mean to. Let's throw in Jared Verse here. I think the Broncos could go edge. It wouldn't be super surprising. And this is the start of perhaps a little bit of a Brock Bowers fall, which could certainly happen due to the. We'll go Mims here instead. Just due to the perception of what a tight end is. Kyle Pitts certainly didn't help out the cause, whether it's his fault or not. On the perceptions of tight ends. So even though I think Bowers is equally as good as Pitts was coming out, Pitts might not even get a look until mid-round. I don't think that's how it's going to happen. I think Bowers does go top 12, but here Colts get to stick and get him. All right, who are we leaving out? See, Terrion Arnold's still here at 16. That was something I wanted to change, and I didn't do it. You know what? We're restarting. We're doing this again. I'm getting Terrion Arnold higher up. Him and Verse, we're getting higher up because I think it could happen. Malik Neighbors. Run through it real quick. Here, that lets us fix that mistake. I think this is the optimal trade back for the Falcons with the Vikings, because obviously you get a first round pick this year, and that's always going to be optimal. Although, as I said in my video yesterday, if you haven't watched it, highly suggest checking it out. The Falcons could value very highly the Vikings first round next year in a trade back, because there's an above average chance that the Vikings are going to have a top 10 pick next year. I think they're almost favored. With their quarterback room, they just don't have a quarterback, and unless you think J.J. McCarthy's the answer, you take their first rounder next year, and it's likely better than pick 24. It's very likely going to be better. But yeah, so that's just my thinking on them. McCarthy. We'll go straight up. We'll keep it chalk at Dallas Turner at this spot. We'll go Verse here, and instead of going tackle here, we'll go Terrion Arnold. I think that has the fit. Saints. They'll still go tackle. Have to head out. Safe travels, Carson. Thanks for watching. Fontenot. Bauer slips. And this is kind of how it starts to shape up. Here, I think with Latham on the board, the Seahawks could be interested. I know they need interior line help, but Latham can profile as interior help. So I think that'd be fun for them. And then we kind of get the corner group going again. Maybe you say Nate Wiggins goes earlier. We'll throw in that little wrinkle. Because again, Kenyon Mitchell is a great player, looks great, but he plays at Toledo. And usually that doesn't matter. You can find talent anywhere. but it matters for evaluating cornerbacks more than anyone, except maybe quarterbacks. But cornerbacks, it's just, if they don't play good competition, it's very, very hard to know what they're going to turn out to be. So here. In this scenario, Byron Murphy's the dropper. No matter what, you're going to have someone fall in the NFL draft. Not everyone's going to... I mean, it's impossible. Not everyone is going to go where they should. Byron Murphy, I think, gets top 15 hype. But with other players rising, him and Bowers are the main fall guys here. We'll go back to the corner well. This is something we'll see. We'll go Cooper DeJean. He's not going to play safety. I'm on the train that he's a cornerback. I know he's listed as safety even on Pro Football Network, but you got to think that he tries it out at corner. And it's not even like, I don't know why he's getting the safety comparisons. It's not like he's not athletic enough to not play corner. He's plenty athletic, and he has good technical ability. I think for some reason he's just gotten profiled as a safety when that's really not his game. Now, could he? I think he'd be a great slot. He'd be a good hybrid safety, but I think you try him out on the outside. There's no reason he can't play on the outside. He's got the frame, and he's very, very explosive. Like, it's not a thing of athleticism for him. It is stuff like this with his fluidity and stuff, but I think they give it a try. Whatever team takes DeJean. As we're getting deeper into it, Fuaga here, don't mind. We're trying to keep it more straight up. Here, I think Barton is a good pick. Eagles, now they get a very good corner. They can take the risk on Mitchell. That works out for him. Here, Johnny Newton, I think great fit for the Falcons. Defensive presence, a little undersized, but not really. So I think he can play in the 3-4 the Falcons are moving to. Here, this is Mims again. That is just a fit for me, the Cowboys and Mims. Let's do something different here. Let's do Kool-Aid. That's fun. Edge, again, this is a fit for me. Chop Robinson. Maybe we'll have a different team trade up for Bo Nix. Here we'll go Brian Thomas Jr. since he's still on the board. Adonai Mitchell. And then the edge here, I like Darius Robinson. I don't think it's crazy that he goes in the first round. That the Lions moving up, if one of the edge rushers starts to fall, though, will be an interesting storyline. Here, the Ravens, I think they look at this board and they're like, we don't love any of the wide receivers here. Xavier Worthy is kind of in their vein of how they've been drafting wide receivers, but maybe they choose to move off that for once. So this will have someone trade up for Bo Nix. It doesn't like... If there's anyone in the chat that has destinations they'd like to see Bo Nix go ahead and comment it, but otherwise we'll just take a flyer. We'll do a random team. Not a random team, but there's a team that comes to mind that we haven't necessarily used yet or gone with. Alright, we're at 75 minutes into the stream. Probably do 15 more or so. Alright, let's go ahead and roll with this in a second. Gotta check everything. Unfortunately, people like to get me about work late in the day. Alright, let's rock with the Raiders. Raiders, I think, good chance of trading up in a spot like this. They do have their second round pick while the Broncos do not, so that's already a ton more ammunition. And they can come up and get Bo Nix. Let's go with an interesting selection. We'll go with Roger Rosengarten here. And to finish it off, the reason I kind of left Worthy on the board so the Chiefs can get him. And I think that's a good fun one as well. I think it's very realistic. Not many trades, just 2. So, I mean, is that realistic? I think there'll probably be a decent amount of trades, so maybe not, but more of a stick and pick draft with just some trades for QBs. It's pretty fun. Let's blow this up a little bit so my top 50 is there. But I do like this board. There's fallers, of course. I mean, there's always going to be risers and guys that fall. Maybe you don't see too many risers here, but this is a top-heavy draft. And with that, there's going to be people that fall. Bowers at 15 is a fall. Byron Murphy at 18 is fall. Brian Thomas Jr. is falling at 27, which I think is a little too far for him. If he fell to the Bills at 28, they would be ecstatic. Although I do really like Mitchell. I have him a little bit higher, but I think the upside of Brian Thomas Jr. is higher. Oops. So that's how that works out. Not too bad. Alright, let's do one more and then we'll end stream. I think that'll put us at a decent time. I don't really want to do every team again. We can do the Falcons. Let's just do another Falcons 7-rounder. Ooh, the Titans here go Dallas Turner. That's interesting. Falcons are not letting the Saints trade up. That's not happening. Let's do a stick and pick for once for the Falcons. I don't like it, but let's do it. Let's say Latu's still their guy and they had to stick there to get him. Means they're missing out on some picks, but we'll reject pretty much everything in this one. More like I said, more normal stick and pick. For this one, I'm gonna skip out on Michael Penix. Both the corners I like at this spot are gone. That's unfortunate. This is really not a good spot to be in. I mean, unless you really like Ladd McConkey. Let's go Ladd McConkey. Why not? Keep the Georgia pipeline going. Hopefully some guys are left here. Yeah, Chris Jenkins, that's fine for me. And then maybe I wanted Javon Bullard in one of these, but of course he goes 2 picks early. I love these wide receivers on the board. It's going to be hard to not double dip, but I'll avoid it. We went edge, we went defensive tackle, we went wide receiver. I mean, corner's the play. We'll go DJ James again. Why not? I mean, there's players I like, so the fact they get picked multiple times, it makes sense. Here, this is an interesting spot. We'll go Hicks again, just like him. We'll probably do one more of these after that. Maybe works out a little bit better. Is this one not turning out how I wanted it to. No, he's not. All right. Well, looking for a specific tackle, not on the board. Here's where we're gonna double dip. We're gonna go Christian Boyd just because, again, I like him and he's there. It's a reach, but I don't think it's a reach. Xavier Thomas is a fun edge. He should be someone the Falcons are looking at. Joe Milton, why not? I'm going to do one where the Falcons take a quarterback a little bit earlier. We have one with Michael Penix going, of course, but even though I don't love that, I think they could be in play for a Spencer Rattler type player. So we'll see how that goes. We'll just finish this one up with George Aloni, who I really like. Alani, excuse me. This is not a bad draft, but there's nothing special about this one. Unfortunately. We'll save it. But this one is about as basic as it gets with the stick and pick. But we are racking up the mock drafts. I don't think there's anything bad. I think this here is not not the thing the Falcons should do. But Ladd McConkey's a very good player. I have him as a first round type talent. It's just I don't think the fit works out there. But he would wreck in the slot for the Falcons. It'd be fun, but I don't know if it's the best. The Georgia Pipeline, of course, is always fun. This is a fun pick. The Ladd McConkey is a fun pick there. Does it make sense? Not really, but it certainly is a fun one. So the rest of it plays out somewhat normally. I would love the Falcons to somehow get more high-end picks in this draft. Don't think it's gonna happen, or not high-end, but mid-round. No reason to pick up more first, but a lot more mid and late round picks. There's some sleepers that I love. That's how it normally goes. We'll do this. Since none of the edges went, we'll play this one out. We'll go Latu. I should probably pick someone different to offer up some, different kind of scenarios, but I really do think Latu is their guy. Bo Nix being here is... When I said I wanted to take a quarterback earlier, that is not what I meant. We'll go Max Melton. He just fits. He's just good. It's hard to pass him up. Bo Nix goes to the Saints there. That would suck. Peyton Wilson being available here is already the pick. That's ridiculous, but I'm going to play along with it. I'm going to counter this. I want to keep my pick. Alright, so we move back a little bit. But like I mentioned, want to pick up more picks in this one. That's just one, but it's fun. So we only went with 3 players. Yeah, so D-tackle is a look here. I don't love those options. Running back, Blake Corum could be fun, but I think that's... Kalen Carson is not a player I'm super in love with, even though this says he's falling. I think you gotta look at something here. See, this pick is just in a bad spot. I think we're gonna try and move down, not many picks, but a couple picks. Just pick up something late. Okay. We'll give up a 5th next year, but whatever. The picks next year don't exist. There you go. That's more what I was looking like earlier, so we'll take that. Oh, when did Rattler go? Rattler was the player I was looking at. The Steelers, 4 picks ago. That stinks. Michael Pratt, cool player though. We'll take him. That offers us a lot of value. We'll do that. Now we've kind of picked up those picks that we want. Jaden Hicks is still here. And this is kind of that board manipulation. And I think wide receiver has to be the move here. Brendan Rice is fun. Luke McCaffrey is good. So we'll do that. We'll see if Brendan Rice is still on the board. He is. That's fun. I mean, Brendan, going back-to-back in a situation like this is rough, but we will do that. Brendan Rice is, of course, great. Gabe Hall going there stinks. Would have loved Gabe Hall. We'll take Christian Boyd. As the picks are starting to rack up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, we already got a full haul here, and we still got 3 more. But this is a good way to look at drafts. Javon Foster, I'm honestly not too familiar with. Christian Jones, more so I am. And just because of that, I'm more comfortable taking him here. I guess I should check out some Javon Foster tape. Haven't seen too much of it. George Holani has been my pick here almost every time. I would like to get a 7th rounder. We have no 7th. Who has a 7th? Philadelphia? Yeah, they have a couple. Let's get rid of that 4th that we got. Okay, never mind. All right, we'll just ignore it. All right, so after this, we walk away with Latu, Melton, Wilson. I think linebacker is an underrated position that the Falcons need to take. So getting Wilson there is dirty value. It's dirty in terms of absolutely excellent value. Michael Pratt, developmental QB, can see that happening. Rest down the board, all looks nice. Only 1 D tackle. I kind of think the Falcons are going to double dip. I doubt there's anyone I'm interested in. Yeah, not really. So let's just look. I mean, we already took a running back. The safety's not interested in. I mean, I want more picks, but when you get in the back end here, it gets pretty rough. I do like Sione Vaki. He's right here. He's one of my sleepers. I think that Utah defense is just so sick, and he was a major reason it was so good. Doubling up on safety, not normally the move, but we'll do it. Just because he was the last player that I really liked. Carson Steele, running back, is fun. Just saw him go. And you get all those players, and you still pick up, relatively good value. So that's fun and how that works out. We'll take a screenshot, make sure to put it out on Twitter. Even though I doubt anyone will see it. It's been a weird year for putting out mock drafts. Last year on everything it was blowing up. This year it's a little bit different. But I had my big board do decently well on everything. I had my mock drafts do decently well on everything. But this year it's been a little different. So doing the live stream has been fun though. If you're in the chat and have any questions as we approach 90 minutes live, feel free to drop them. That'll probably be last questions or anything I take before ending this. I know we haven't had a big turnout, but it was important for me to get a stream live on this channel. Especially because I had a light day today. My freelance work not exactly calling me in, but it was important because I think later we'll do some more streams on this channel of me like broadcasting games live, so people can get. I was always interested in it when I was starting out, a background look in it. But yeah, let's add on to this. I think Javon Bullard could go first round. We'll say 30. We'll say 31. I think that's it for that. We'll take a screenshot. Oop, I don't like where my thing is placed. My cursor. We'll take another screenshot. We'll save it. Alright. I like this draft. Melton, don't love at 43, but that's where teams are probably going to have to take him. So, prefer TJ Tampa there. But obviously Cooper DeJean, I don't think he falls that far, obviously. Kool-Aid over him, but it's going to be weird for the corners at that spot. Peyton Wilson at 74 is a steal. I have a first-round grade on him. The only linebacker even close, and it's a late first-round grade, but getting him at 74 is value. Michael Pratt's fun. He has some fun tape at Tulane. Get any videos here? I don't want to show too much because I'll get in trouble. But he's got some fun tape. That's a great pass. Like he's got some fun tape. Michael Pratt. I mean, I think Spencer Rattler's going to be the talk around that quarterback mid-round. Him, Joe Milton. But Michael Pratt was a stud, and it's a guy that a lot of perhaps even college fans don't know. I think a lot of like college fans, if you watch any amount of college football, a decent amount, know who Michael Pratt is. But I'm gonna get copyright strike for this, by the way. But Michael Pratt is a fun guy. I would probably have Spencer Rattler over him, but I would love if the Falcons picked him up and developed him. Going down the board, Jaden Hicks is my favorite safety. Javon Bullard a close second. Jaden Hicks is just so dynamic. Back-to-back wide receivers probably don't see the Falcons doing, but McCaffrey's fun. And Rice, of course, he just got the storyline. Boyd is my biggest sleeper in the draft. Kristen Jones is just developmental offensive tackle. Lonnie said it before in the stream, but firecracker. And doubling up on safety is never a great idea, but Vaki is one of my bigger sleepers too, so I like him. And he pick up value as some of the Pratt footage starts to pick up. There were some nice throws in there. But I only plan on going 90 minutes, so if anyone's in the chat, any final questions, then we'll wrap it up. I saw a couple people trickle in, but likely trickle out just as fast. But if anyone has anything they just even want to talk over, I'm not I'm an authority, but I'm not the biggest authority. So if you just have ideas you want to bounce, other than that, we'd probably end the stream here. Of course, this will all be uploaded, so you can always go back and watch too. Excuse me. Best thing about Pratt is those Tulane jerseys are so sick. All the jerseys they have. Their homes, their aways, their color rush. Throwbacks. They're all perfect. All right. Well, I will take a couple more minutes for questions or comments in the chat. Of course, the chat is on the subscriber only, but if you subscribe for any amount of time, you can chat. And then, of course, you can unsubscribe right after if you don't like my content. There's no hard feelings. But I was only planning on doing 90 minutes, and we're just about to hit it because I started about 5 minutes after 5. And I'm just enjoying the Michael Pratt highlights now. Already left it up too long to where I was going to get copyright strikes, so might as well continue watching them. He's got some wheels to him, too. He doesn't do it often, but you can see there, he can get going. Not great at protecting himself, as that slide was not how you want to do it. But Falcons always bring in a Braves player or two to teach him how to slide. I don't think they bring in a Braves player. It's usually Gwinnett Striper, their AAA. Alright, we'll take this down because that's going to get me copyright strike. But this is the last of the big board. This was the 7-round mock I did for the Falcons. We didn't get to any other teams, which kind of sucks, but no fans of opposing teams came in. Carson Howard was the big chatter, and he is not really partial to any team, from what I know. All right, well, no questions. I'll put on some music, and just kind of leave everything where it's at and fade out here. So thanks for everyone that watched. I know we don't have a ton of people in here right now or picked up a ton, but I appreciate it. It was fun running through all the scenarios. Feel free to comment on this after it gets posted. Maybe run it back again before the NFL draft tomorrow. But just wanted to get a live stream out on this channel. So thank you all for watching. I'm going to put on said music. I'll just take off my face cam and sit on the screen so we have a little bit of an outro. But thank you all for watching.
We could have built that house in Maine. We could have been something. You could have taken